everyone, and welcome again. The festival's going really well today, and now next up we have got a cocktail masterclass from Simon Thomas. So I'll welcome Simon into the studio. Hi Simon, how are things, mate?
Hi Sean, pretty good, mate, thank you. Can you hear me?
I'm glad to hear. Good. And yeah, I can hear you all right. As someone's already said, it's 5:30. It's time for a cocktail.
Damn right. Okay, I've got a bit of a theme going today, and the theme is it's the morning after the night before. So because it's the night before, we're going to do the night before first. And the night before is a kind of a cruel twist on a classic cocktail, the Negroni, which most of you will know. So I was thinking about Negronis, and I thought, why isn't there a Vesper Negroni, like there's a Vesper Martini? So I spoke to my friends at the Lake Distillery up near Keswick, and I've done a Vesper Negroni. So the first thing we need is a really nice glass, and you fill it with ice, chill the glass right down, make it really cold. This is a lovely glass from Cumbria Crystal in Ulverston. The next thing you need is a mixing glass. Fill your mixing glass with ice. Okay, and then we're going to take 25 mils of Lakes Distillery gin. And we're going to take 25 mils of Lakes Distillery vodka. This is the Vesper bit. Okay. And then this is a really nice German vermouth called Ferdinand's, which is made from German white wine. So it's a sweet vermouth like red martini is, but it's white. 20 mils of that. And then this is a rather unique kind of twist on the Amaro, which is the Campari element of a Negroni. And this is called Cynar. And Cynar is made from artichokes. So it has quite a vegetable sort of feel to it. And we just want about 15 mils of that. Okay. And then we're going to stir this right down. And the object of the exercise when you're stirring is not just to get it cold. It's to get it cold, but it's also to dilute it. Okay. So we just plenty of ice. We're just going to stir that. I find these long-handled spoons really easy to stir with, whereas the short ones, I just can't get my hand around. So the Negroni is actually, well, it was 100 years old last year, since Count Camillo Negroni went into a bar in Milan and said, put a bit more punch in my Americano. So they stuck a gin in it. And then the Negroni was born. And every year we do a charity event, which is Negroni Week, where we do lots and lots of different riffs on a Negroni, and an element of every drink goes to charity. Okay, so that's stirred down enough. Then we need a strainer. So this is called a Hawthorne strainer or a julep strainer. Goes right down into the mixing glass. Then we need to discard the ice from this glass, and we'll replace it with one really nice big cube, maybe two. Let's go mad, it's a big glass. Now the other garnish we want for a classic Negroni is a big sliver of orange peel. So just use a potato peeler and just get a nice wide ribbon. And then if you roll it up, it'll express some of the oils from the skin. Then just run that around the inside of the glass. Drop it into the drink. Pour your Negroni over the ice. As you can see, this glass is like a bucket. It's absolutely enormous. And there's your classic Negroni with a Vesper twist. So the Vesper Martini is a martini with a vodka added. So the Vesper Negroni is a Negroni with a vodka added. but I've played with the bitter elements as well with the Negroni, and I've also played with the vermouth.
Dave Evans has just asked, is a cold be key to a good cocktail?
Not necessarily. I have one or two cocktails that really benefit from being at room temperature.
Okay.
This one we do as a bottled cocktail. It's called the Osborne, and it's based on whiskey and red wine, and that really needs serving at room temperature to be at its best. So normally the key with cocktails is good ice, chill it to death, but just every now and again you want one at room temperature. You get more aromatics at room temperature. Yeah. So the colder you make it, the more you can get away with putting like really sweet liqueurs and really astringent flavors in, because the cold actually dumbs down the flavor a little bit.
And do you want to tell people a bit about what the blind bus driver is?
Okay, the blind bus driver is it's my idea of a speakeasy, but done in the way that makes it a place where I want to drink. There wasn't that place in Kendal, and I thought Kendal was long overdue for somewhere really sophisticated where you could drink really amazing cocktails made with incredible spirits. So we have a really good collection of spirits. I've probably got more vermouths and amaros than most of the other bars in town put together.
Oh, very nice.
And we also have quite a big range of vintage spirits. So we've got whiskey going back to the 1940s. We've got vodkas and gins going back to the 60s and 70s. So if you want a 1970s cocktail made with 1970s spirits, sometimes we can do it.
Sounds great, definitely.
I'm just kind of wondering now why I picked this drink as one of the ones I was going to demonstrate today, because obviously I'm on my own and I'm massively allergic to gin. So I'm going to put this in a bottle for somebody else to drink.
Yeah.
Okay, because if I drink it, you won't get the next drink in the series. So that's your Saturday night, or your Sunday night in this case.
Paul's actually just said, who's the aperitif guy? That glass would be beautiful to serve an old-fashioned in.
It is actually an old-fashioned glass. The trouble is, to make it worthwhile, you've got to add like such a lot of booze. I mean, that's a full-on Negroni, and it's not even half filling the glass. Yeah, and it's got two 2-inch cubes of ice in it. It's an absolute bucket. If you get my hands are enormous. I could have been a goalkeeper if I wasn't a bartender. But look at the size of that glass. It is just gigantic.
Yeah, massively.
This is a litre bottle. So that glass would hold half a litre.
Yeah, definitely.
But they are stunning. They're really, really beautiful glasses, and
the regional foodie said, "Fill it up."
So heavy. Yeah, but if you want to pay for it, I'll fill it up for you. Yeah. It's not a problem.
A double Negroni in the one glass.
Would be three normal cocktails to fill that. Well, it wouldn't even fill it. That would take it to kind of a sensible line, really.
Yeah.
So that's Sunday night or Saturday night, and we're gonna move away from Saturday night now to a cocktail I always think of as a breakfast cocktail. It's not the breakfast martini.
You were telling me about this, but with a twist.
Yeah, this is the other all-day cocktail, because the other all-day cocktail is a Bloody Mary. The only time I ever feel like one is kind of breakfast or brunch. That's when I want a Bloody Mary. So all you guys who are doing afternoon teas and adding a glass of Prosecco for another £8 or whatever, why not, when you're doing breakfast, add a Bloody Mary for like another £7 or £8. It's a great drink, the Bloody Mary. It's really, really full of flavour, full of fire, a little bit of booze, just a really exciting drink. And I think we've made it a little bit more exciting. So again, I'm using local spirits. So I'm going to use Lakeland Moon vodka, which is made by my closest neighbour. literally the guy downstairs, which is Pennington Spirits. They're the people who make the Kendal Mint Cake liqueur, which we also use in cocktails. But he makes a lovely, lovely organic vodka. So I thought I'd use that.
They do a gingerbread liqueur and things like that as well, don't they?
Oh, the gingerbread one. That gingerbread one in hot chocolate is just amazing. So good. And they do a cherry bakewell as well, which is pretty special. So I'm going to use Mike's vodka. As I say, if you see the products, they're really good. They're made really well. We use a lot of them. The mint cake liqueur is fantastic with whiskey. If you mix it with whiskey, and the other thing it's brilliant with is chocolate. Anything chocolatey works really, really well. So I'm going to put some ice into the tin. I've got a glass chilling down nicely because we're going to use we're going to be a bit avant-garde, and we're going to use a wine glass for this one instead of the usual highball glass. So into my mixing glass, we don't need to see Smirnoff on the front of that, do we? So in this, I'm going to put 50 mils of the organic Lakeland Moon vodka. So I can drink this one, Quelle Surprise. And then just for a little bit of smoke, because I kind of like a bit of smokiness with my tomatoes, I've got some Kikiriki Mezcal. And Mezcal's like the smoky version of tequila. It's like the Isla malt of tequila. So we're just going to put 25 of that in. Yes, it is going to be quite a boozy drink, before you say that. I really like mezcal. Mezcal and tequila are kind of misunderstood spirits, really. If you pay enough for your tequila, it's an absolutely amazing drink. It's like the very, very best Scotch whiskey in terms of complexity and flavour. Trouble is, anybody only wants to pay like 15 quid for a bottle of tequila.
Yeah, or a pound a shot, and they just want to shot it.
Exactly, and they want to do it as shots. Really, it needs to go into a nice glass at room temperature, so you can really savor it. And mezcal is exactly the same. If you buy the bottle with the little worm in the bottom, you've just wasted 20 quid. Sorry, but it's horrid. So also in my Bloody Mary, I'm going to put some Henderson's relish. You can use Worcester sauce if you want to. Henderson's relish doesn't have anchovies in, so it's suitable for vegetarians.
It's a great product. I met them in Harrogate, and right. I've got a few bits in my cupboard from them, and it's actually nicer than Worcester sauce.
I think so. It's lovely stuff. I went to uni in Sheffield, so Henderson's relish was everywhere in Sheffield. It's one of those things. And then I've got, because we want to make this spicy, I've got some cocktail bitters. And these are called Hellfire bitters, made by a company called Bitter Men. So I'm gonna put 4 drops in. And 4 drops is quite a lot. These are really, really concentrated, basically an essence of whatever flavor you're trying to get. And then I've got another bitters. This is called Scrappy's Hellfire bitter, Scrappy's Firewater bitters, which is made from just centrifuging habanero chilies. So we're just going to put like literally a couple of drops of that in. And then we've got the world famous Tabasco. This is the other Tabasco. This is the Chipotle. So it's kind of like a smoky Tabasco. We're just going to pop a couple of dashes of that in.
Feeling hot, again, hot.
Yeah, the Chipotle is nowhere near as hot as the regular Tabasco. It's kind of smoky and mellow. And then I've also got some bird's eye chili and sriracha seasoning. So I'm going to put a little bit of that in. it is going to be on the spicy side. And now I've got this is a brilliant product. This is tomato cocktail called Clamato, because it's tomato and clam juice. It's a thing in the States. An American friend introduced me to it, and it's actually got so much more going for it than just tomato juice. So I'm going to put about 100 mils of Clamato. I'll call it 120 actually. I'm not feeling quite that strong, so I'm going to have it a bit more diluted. Okay. And then we want the juice of a lime. So get a nice fresh lime. Don't use lime juice out of a bottle. It's a complete waste of time. In fact, lemon juice out of a bottle, lime juice out of a bottle. Get your lime, cut it in half, squeeze it in. You get the whole flavour of the lime then. Okay. Lovely. This thing's called a Mexican elbow, by the way. Just makes life easy when you're squeezing juice. And then that just wants to go into my ice. Make sure it's closed. You don't want to shake it too crazy for a Bloody Mary. Just get it really, really, really nice and cold. And you don't even have to worry about straining it, because you're just going to pour the whole thing into the glass with the ice and everything, okay? That'll do. That looks good. I'm just going to wipe my hands. Okay. So I'm going to dump that ice. Open my shaker. Voila. So there's a nice pink drink. But it gets better than that, because obviously I knew there was going to be a lot of chefs on this thing. So I prepared a chefy little garnish, because I want that Bloody Mary for my breakfast. So I thought, well, what should we garnish it with? Should we garnish it with like a little bit of flattened bacon or something like that? And I thought, no, blow it. We'll garnish it with a full English. So here's the garnish. Can you see that?
Oh, very nice.
So we've got mushroom, egg, tomato, sausage, toast, and bacon. Oh, and an orange, because you always have orange juice for breakfast.
A full English on a stick.
So it's full English on 2 sticks.
Yeah.
And a Bloody Mary. So cheers with that. I'm going to try this one, and then I'm going to show you an old-fashioned in an old-fashioned glass. Oh, that is so good. Oh, my God. That is really good. I'm going to finish that later and eat the breakfast. So I've got one more to show you, and the other one I want to show you is a drink that's kind of comes and goes in terms of flavor. The downside, if you have a glass this size for this drink, is it's going to cost you a packet. So I'm going to make an old-fashioned. But my old-fashioned has a slight twist, because I hate making sugar syrup. I just find it a pain. And then when I put it in the bottle, it always goes a bit crusty around the top. So you're taking the lid off, and it's all crusty sugar. So I don't tend to use sugar syrup. What I tend to use is this, which is Kin Toffee Vodka. It's another local product.
Oh, it's absolutely gorgeous. They're well involved in the festival at a minute.
It is. If you pour that over ice cream, you're a happy bunny. Kid you not.
Or make ice cream with it.
Oh, yeah. Right, I'm just going to chill that glass down. Really, really chill it down. Okay. And with your old-fashioned, obviously you can choose what spirit you're going to use. So it doesn't have to be whiskey. It could be rum. It could be tequila, actually. You can make a tequila old-fashioned. In my case, I am going to use whiskey, and I'm going to use another local one. So read 'em and weep, folks. I'm going to use the Lakes Distillery Whiskey Makers Reserve #1. And yes, we still have got a bottle. Well, we've got half a bottle behind the bar. So
very strong, that.
It's lovely stuff.
Nice, strong.
Cask strength. It's perfect for an old-fashioned because when you stir the old-fashioned, you're going to dilute it quite a lot.
Yeah.
So it's a brilliant one for that. I'm just looking for my mixing glass. There we are. Okay. So I really rate these Whiskey Makers Reserves. They're so nice.
They've got #3 coming out soon, haven't they?
Yeah, tell me about it. Yeah. That's why I'm using their product. I'm trying to get them to send me a bottle for free. Chris.
Just a hint there, yeah?
It won't happen. They're all Cumbrians. You know what they say about Cumbrians? They're so mean they only breathe out.
Love it.
Yeah. Right. So we've got a nice full glass full of ice ready to chill the drink down. We've got our Whiskey Makers Reserve #1. We've got massive glass, so I'm going to have to pour myself a really big shot because obviously I can drink this. So I think I'm going to go for about 60 mils, I think. Because I deserve it. I've worked hard.
Yes.
Yeah.
You'll enjoy afterwards some music as well.
Too right, mate. I've been dipping in today, actually. I've seen some really cool stuff. I was watching John Fell earlier on cooking. What a surprise. He was cooking hake. But I did like it. The goose fat, I can relate to that. I love goose fat.
Yeah, very different using goose fat with fish.
Yeah. Well, I used to use goose fat in bread when I had the bakery.
Oh, lovely.
It's like in a former life, I was an artisan baker. And yeah, I used to put goose fat in bread. And people used to go, "Ooh, that's way too weird," but it was absolutely gorgeous.
Well, it brings more flavour and development into the bread, doesn't it?
Yeah, if you want to make a nice little crouton, like game
Yes.
crouton, absolutely fantastic with that in. So I've got Judith's Kintoffee vodka, and I'm going to use about 20 mils of that. It's quite sweet, and obviously you're adding more alcohol. Bummer, right? But it's kind of worth it because it's got a lot more flavour than just toffee, than just sugar syrup. So you're actually adding quite a bit more flavour. And then we need to go to our bitters. So I'm going to go with 2 bitters. It's always bitters that separate the home bartenders from the professionals, really, because we've got a great excuse to go and buy like 20 bottles of bitters, whereas you don't. You probably have a bottle of Angostura in the cupboard that's been there forever. Whereas we can go, "Oh, I really fancy the idea of that bitters. I'll give that a whirl." So for this drink, to go with the Whiskey Makers Reserve #1, there's elements of cacao in that. So I'm going to use a chocolate bitters. So we're going to put 3 drops of chocolate bitters. This is from a company called Bob's Bitters, and Bob's Bitters are ace. They're really, really concentrated, pure flavors. And I've also got some of Bob's orange and mandarin. There's little citrusy elements in the whiskey as well. So we're going to do 3 drops of that as well. And that also picks up the toffee flavor in the vodka really nicely. Okay, so all we need to do now is give that a bit of a stir. See, because I'm streaming live, I'm using the quiet end of the spoon. You see, the end with the teardrop on is the quiet end. The end with the spoon on is the noisy end. So you can stir almost silently if you use the teardrop.
A lot of cocktail makers like making a lot of noise, though, don't they?
Oh, they do. Some of them are just full of it. Some of them, it's all smoke and mirrors, and not a great deal of quality in terms of the flavours. I'd far rather have it taste good.
Yeah, definitely. Paul's just messaged saying he's got 9 different bitters in his cupboard.
Is that all? This is the aperitif, fella.
Yeah. So he's on at 7 o'clock tonight, talking about different aperitifs and different drinks.
Yeah. I've seen some of his stuff. I like his. He did a spread for somebody the other day on. I think it was on Facebook. Looked amazing. Looked really good. Definitely. I want to go to his house for tea. He had olives and all sorts of good stuff. Right, so I'm going to put a couple of big chunks of ice in. There we go. So 2 big chunks in my bucket. Again, the classic garnish for an old-fashioned is orange. So as I say, again, if you twist it round, it'll release the oils in the skin. And just run that round the inside of your glass. Drop it in. Strainer. And just pour it in over the ice. Make a big deal of it. Do it from a real big height. Makes you look far more professional. Till you spill all the ice. Okay. There we go. Cheers, gentlemen.
Enjoy.
God, I've got a few to go at now.
Definitely, it's going to be a late night for you.
It is. I've got loads to go at. The other thing I did, how are we doing for time?
Yeah, plenty, mate. Don't you worry.
Oh, cool. Well, Dave's on the other side, isn't he? He's on BBC too. Yeah. I just want to show you one thing. For people like me who either don't like gin, hooray, or can't drink gin, we had a bit of a play with the Negroni in Negroni Week last year, and we came up with a really, really interesting side shoot for a Negroni. And it's using a slightly unusual spirit, which is not a local one. It's called Brennivin, and it's from Iceland. So Brennivin is like an Icelandic version of schnapps, but it's got a lot of flavors going on in it. So I thought I'd have a bit of a play. So I've got this Brennivin, which has been matured in bourbon casks. Most of this spirit goes to the American market. Not much of it finds its way over here. So if you want some, the chances are you'll have to go to Iceland and bring it back with you. But it's a really, really, really nice drink. So I'm going to do 50 ml of Brennivin. And then I'm always one for changing the components of things, almost just for the sake of it. But I found this Chinotto Nero, which is it's a special vermouth, and it's kind of crazy money. But they've had it's De Kuipers who've had a collection of barmen around the world designing their perfect drink, and this was one of the ones that came out. And it's like a sweet vermouth, but it's got so much more going on. So I'm going to use 35 of that. Well worth using if you can find it, if you're really, really into your cocktails. Mr. Aperitif Man, you'll like that. And then I need an Amaro. So, what's I going to use? Tell you what. No, I know. Sorry, I'm changing it. I'm changing all the time. I keep changing the recipe. So I'm going to use an Amaro called Amara. Very topical. So this one's very, very orangey. I think it's tangerines it's actually made from. So I'm going to use 25 of that as well. Sorry, 35 of that. So there's my fake Negroni that's not a Negroni. So it's got, like a proper Negroni has a spirit, which is gin. It has a vermouth, which is usually Martini Rosso, but in my case is this Gin Nero. And then it has an Amaro, which is usually Campari, but in my case is the Amara. And then we just give it a bit of a stir. Oh, need to chill a glass down there. Okay. So what should happen with this, instead of having the aromatics of the gin, you should get the sweetness and the caramel of the bourbon cask, and then you get the weirdness of schnapps. Brennivin is kind of, it doesn't taste like anything else on the planet. It's quite strange stuff. But it works really, really well with Amaros. So I'm just going to stir that down. And again, I'm going to garnish it with a sliver of orange. I'm going to run out of orange in a minute. It is kind of my favourite garnish, to be fair. It adds a lot.
Are you a fan of flaming it?
No, I think that's just pure theatre. It doesn't actually add anything to it at all.
Because a lot of people think that draws out the oils more and things like that, and it's all about just making a spark, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's just about theatre, but which is partly what cocktails are about anyway. They are about theatre. It's because, you know, you could go into a pub and you could say to a guy, give me one shot of that, one shot of that, and one shot of that. And he could do that, just pour it into a glass with some ice. And basically you'd have a similar combination, but it wouldn't be a Negroni.
Yeah.
It wouldn't even be my ersatz Negroni. Because it's not been made with any thought. There we go. So we've got like a Negroni Blanco. Your normal Negroni is like a really lovely ruby red. So this one's more of a white one. And it's one I can drink. So cheers again. They say you shouldn't mix your drinks. Ah. That's how I make my living, mixing drinks. That is actually gorgeous. It's got a lot of citrus going on. And then there's a real depth from this vermouth. And then right under it, you've just got a kick of spirit. And it makes for a lovely, lovely drink pretty much any time of day. So I think I'm going to start with this one. And then I'll move on to that one. And I'll probably finish with the old fashioned. And at some stage, I'll have my breakfast. But if anybody wants to come and see us when we are open, we're in Kendal in Cumbria. And if you go onto my Facebook page, The Blind Bus Driver, you can arrange to come and see us and book a table, and then we'll tell you where we are. In the meantime, I've been messing about with some bottled cocktails. So these are our bottled cocktails called Bottle Tails. And this one is number one, which is the Osborne, which is made with Lakes Distillery whiskey, some PX sherry, some bitters, and some really nice claret. It's a gorgeous cocktail, and it's for drinking at room temperature, so you don't even have to chill it. Slightly dangerous because it's so nice.
Easy drinking.
Absolutely, far too easy.
That sounds great. Well, that's been lovely, Simon.
You're welcome, mate.
It's been absolutely amazing looking at all them cocktails, and hopefully give some people a bit of idea of different drinks they can make.
Yeah, totally. The key is to mess about. Mess about with the flavours. Yeah.
Experiment.
You come up and see us, John. When we're open again, come and see us.
Yeah, definitely. I'll come up and see you. Be great.
Cool.
But yeah, thanks very much for everyone for joining us on the Cocktail Masterclass, and we will see you all soon.
Cheers.
Ollie Hoyle, Catering Manager.
Peter Molar, doorman.
Ricardo Oliva, Concierge.
Ulrich Edwards, Concierge Assistant.
We've got you.
Linda Anderson, cafe owner.
Ioana Georgiou, junior sous chef.
Nuno Pinto, bartender.
Mark Black, head porter.
Andrea Demir, receptionist.
We've got you.
Aaron Dixon, apprentice chef.
Federica Pinna, pastry chef.
Sabino Mazzone, pastry chef.
Himari Bochkay, barista supervisor.
We've got you. Shwam Maharjan, sushi head chef.
Mitchell Collier, duty manager.
Anna Grabczewska, public area cleaner.
Whatever you do in hospitality, isn't it good to know that someone's got your back in case anything goes wrong?